Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. For today's video, I am filming my October wrap-up. If I sound a little weird, I'm sorry. It's because I'm getting over a cold and I just hate the way I sound when I'm on a cold. Anyways. And before we get started, I do want to say a big thank you to all of you guys because I officially hit 3,000 subscribers, which is so amazing, and I truly do appreciate it, so thank you. Alright, so let's get into the wrap-up. I read a total of 30 books in October. 30 books. 3 of them were physical books, and then the rest I read on my Kindle, and a lot of them, well, a couple of them were like novellas, so they weren't more than like 50 pages. But, I mean, I still consider them like a book, so, you know, it's not like I read 30 300-page books, but I did read technically 30 books, which is amazing. Alright, so let's just get into the wrap-up. Babymaker by Janika Snow. This is book 17 in a Real Man series. This I gave 3 out of 5 stars. Say What You Want, also by Janika Snow. This I gave 2 out of 5 stars. And then I binged a trilogy, so I read the Savage trilogy by Megan March. The first book is the Savage Prince, and this is actually a spin-off of the Mount trilogy. Like, they take place in the same world. You don't have to read the Mount trilogy first, but I do recommend it because it does have some of the same characters. So yeah, I read the first book, Savage Prince, and I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. I really like Megan March's darker books, or like darker romance, and I don't really want to reveal much about what the series is because I feel like you should go into it kind of blind, but basically it's about this character that you see from the Mount trilogy. She goes to like this sex club and she meets this dark, mysterious guy, and things kind of take off from there. The entire book you don't know who the love interest is, like you don't know his name, you don't know anything really about him. And it's so weird, but I really loved this book. I really loved the entire trilogy. I highly do recommend it if you want a dark romance or more of an erotic romance. I just think it's super great and I highly recommend it. And then I read the second book, Iron Princess, which I also gave 4 out of 5 stars. And then I read Rogue Royalty, which I also gave 4 out of 5 stars. A very solid trilogy. I really enjoyed it, and yeah, I think it's like equal to me to the Mount trilogy. Like, I really loved that trilogy, and I feel the same way about this one as well. Like, I really loved it. The characters were great, the romance was superb, and I just really enjoyed this trilogy. Then I read Freaks by Callie Hart. This is book 3 in the Dirty Nasty Freaks trilogy, and this I gave 3 out of 5 stars. I wish I would have read it closer to when I read the first 2 because I kind of forgot the characters, I kind of forgot the storyline. I would have like odd pieces that I would put together, and I don't know. I just finished the book because I wanted to finish the trilogy. Yeah, the plot twist was great in here though. Her Best Friend's Dad by Penny Wilder. This I gave 2 out of 5 stars. Then I read Bitten by the Beast by Alexa Riley. This is book 1 in the Virgin Blood series, which is their first vampire romance, which I feel like is very weird. Like, I feel like they've done vampire romance before, but they haven't. Oh yeah, they've done like a shape-shifting series, but they've never done a vampire series. And they were releasing one every Friday in October, leading up to Halloween, obviously. So I read the first one and I gave it 2 out of 5 stars. It was alright. If you love paranormal romance and like really quick, smutty books, like, read the series, but I don't know. It's not their best work, so. Buying the Bride by Penny Wilder, which I gave 3 out of 5 stars. She's Too Young by Jessica Cain. This I gave 1 out of 5 stars. I hated this book so much. Like, I don't even know the point of it. It's basically about this dude who sees this chick who is underage, and he does everything in his power to be with her. I can read pretty weird romances and like dark ones and stuff, but this one was just like, there was nothing about it that I liked, and I don't know. And it's weird because I've read Alexa Riley and Jessica Cain's book together. Like, they've written a couple books together, and I've enjoyed those. So I thought I would check out like Jessica Cain's own books. This one I read and did not enjoy, so Then I read All the Way by Kristen Proby, which is book 1 in the Romancing Manhattan series. This I gave 4 out of 5 stars. This was a solid romance. I really, really did enjoy it. This follows a lawyer who, for the first time, is kind of taking a vacation, and he is also taking care of his niece for a little bit. And then we have our female character, who is a Tony Award-winning Broadway actress, and she recently had an accident where she can no longer perform, and she's trying to heal and get better so that she can get back on stage. And she meets the hero at a vineyard, and they kind of quickly form a relationship, and it's just super cute and just a really nice romance. It's about them dealing with their own issues and also just falling in love and bringing out the best in each other. I just thought it was really, really cute, and I really enjoyed it. Then I read Straight Up Love by Lexi Ryan. This is book 2 in the Boys of Jackson Harbor series. I did not read book 1. I won't, because this one I gave 2 out of 5 stars. I just didn't like it. There was way too much drama. The characters weren't really likable in any way, and I read it because it has like one of my favorite tropes, but like that couldn't even save it really. So I gave it 2 out of 5 stars. Then I read Hot Cop by Laura Lynn Page and Sierra Simone, and this I gave 4 out of 5 stars. I really, really loved this book so much. It also has one of my favorite tropes, so that's why I read it. And I feel like I've been behind on Laura Lynn's books, so I've been trying to slowly catch up. So I read this one and really, really liked it. It's about this woman who is turning 30 and she wants a baby, and she is not in a relationship with anybody or anything like that. And she meets Officer Chase Kelly, and he is like immediately attracted to her, and he wants just to have fun, and she obviously is trying to be serious in her life because she wants a baby. And so she literally asks him if he would father her kid, and he like would have nothing to do with it. And does he agree? Does he not? I just love this book. It was so cute. It was so hot. Like I really, really loved it. I loved the characters. It was just so good, and I really loved it. Then I read Love Sincerely Yours by Sarah Nye and Megan Quinn. This I gave 4 out of 5 stars. I also really did enjoy this one. It's about this really stuck-up boss and this girl who works for his company, and she has like a major crush on him, and she decides one night drunkenly to write him an email, and like confessing that she's like has a big crush on him and all of that. And he is determined to find out who from his staff sent that to him, and it is funny. So angsty. Like, it's one of the most angsty books I've read in a while. Yeah, I think if you like office romances or just really, I don't want to say dragged out romances, but like it didn't feel like rushed or anything. Like their relationship felt very like natural and progressed really well, and I enjoyed it. I liked the characters. Then I read Hollywood Dirt by Alessandra Tor. This I read for my Passion Flick series that I have going on my channel. I will link the first video down below. I don't have much to say about this because I've talked about it in that video itself, but I did give it a 3 out of 5 stars. It was an enjoyable romance, but it did feel like something I've already read before. Yeah, if you want to watch me read it and talk about it, I will link the Passion Flicks video down below. Oh, I forgot to tell you what this is about. This follows a famous actor who's dealing with the aftermath of his wife's divorce, and he goes to this small town to film a movie, and he meets this local named Summer, and he basically asks her to be in his movie. They fall in love, yada yada yada. I will link the video down below. Then I read Bitten by the Virgin by Alex Riley. This I gave also 2 out of 5 stars. Then I read Fight or Flight by Samantha Young, which I gave 4 out of 5 stars. I really did enjoy this. Not my favorite by Samantha, but definitely really, really good. I liked the characters, I liked the romance. The only aspect I didn't like was, or like Caleb's issue with like what happened in his past. That one like aspect I did not like. I don't know how I feel about authors doing that anymore. Like, I don't really want to spoil it, but using like a certain plot line to like villainize a female character, I don't really like that aspect. Anyways, that was like the only thing I didn't like. Also, basically all of the sex scenes in here were like fade to black, which it's like, why are you writing a romance book if you're not gonna have more than like 2 sex scenes and then the rest just fade to black? That's like one of my biggest pet peeves about romance novels. If you're gonna like insinuate that there's a sex scene, write a sex scene, or don't insinuate it at all. Like it's just, regardless, I still really enjoyed it. I liked the characters and the romance and all that jazz. So I still did give it 4 stars. And this follows Ava and Caleb, who meet on a plane, and he is extremely obnoxious and rude. And they have like this kind of banter going on, and they're both really attracted to each other. And turns out they're both stranded in Boston, so they decide to just spend a couple days together. Obviously, they fall in love, and then turns out that they have some sort of connection back home. So yeah, I did give it 4 stars. Then I read Flirting with Forever by Kendall Ryan. This I gave 3 out of 5 stars. And this is kind of a best friends to lovers romance. And yeah, it was cute. Then I read Dear Jane by Kendall Ryan. And this is like a second chance romance. It's about a guy who broke up with this girl 10 years ago. They are reunited because he is a football player and she works for the team. And so they obviously bump into each other and they slowly kind of start back up. And yeah, it was cute. I gave it 3 out of 5 stars. Twice Bitten by Alexa Riley. This I gave 2 out of 5 stars. Then I read Richer Than Sin by Megan March. And originally I had given this 4 stars, but I knocked it down to 3. This trilogy is very, very dramatic, over the top. It kind of reads like a soap opera. It is so dramatic. I think it's supposed to be like a Romeo and Juliet retelling, kind of, about 2 feuding families, and 2 of the grandchildren fall in love, and obviously neither family is okay with that, and it's just like they're trying to tear them apart. And yeah, it was just like so dramatic, but I like kept reading, but I didn't necessarily love it. So I gave it 3 out of 5 stars. And then I read the second book, Guilty as Sin, which I also gave 3 out of 5 stars. Then I read Dating the Enemy by Nicole Williams. This follows 2 column writers, Miss Romance and Mr. Reality. And they both obviously are very different on their opinions about romance and about relationships. They find out that they have to basically compete for the same job, and their boss decides that they're gonna have a reality show type of thing where they go on dates together to see whether they can make each other fall in love, and whoever wins gets the job. And this one was super cute. I loved the characters. I loved the romance. I highly recommend it if you want something similar to The Hating Game, but also can stand on its own and be completely different. Yeah, this is like my second favorite Nicole Williams. Like, I just really enjoyed it. It was super cute and just great. And yeah. Revealing in Sin by Megan March. This is book 3 in the Sin trilogy, and this one I also gave 3 out of 5 stars. It wrapped up the series, but it was just, it was so dramatic. Like, I feel like I was watching some sort of like soap show, and it was just like one thing after another, and I'm just so happy I finished that trilogy. I don't even know why I continued, to be honest. Bitten by the King by Alexa Riley. This is book 4 in the Virgin Blood series. It's the final book, and this I gave 2 out of 5 stars. And then I read one of my favorite trilogies of all time and of the year. And I don't know what took me so long to read this series. Like, I have literally had the first book on my TBR since July of 2016. Why have I not read it? I don't know. But I finally did it the second last weekend of October, and I was still kind of sick, and I was kind of tired of watching TV, so I was like, okay, let me just like binge some books or something. So I just randomly picked this up. I didn't reread the synopsis. I kind of went into it blind and I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna finally do it. And I binged the entire trilogy in 5 hours. I am so in love with this trilogy. I still can't stop thinking about it. And that is Monster in His Eyes by J.M. Darrover. This, oh my god, I loved this so much. This is a dark romance. I still can't process my thoughts on it all, but I absolutely loved it. So I gave the first book 5 stars. Book 1 and book 3 are definitely my favorite. I'll explain why, but yeah, I loved this so much. I love Ignacio. Is that how you say it? Ignacio. Or Naz. I love him so much, and him with Carissa is just like, oh. They're so just, oh my god. I just love this trilogy so much. I don't want to give too much away because I feel like you should go into it kind of blind and not really knowing that much about it. But it follows this young girl who's 18 and she is in college, and she randomly bumps into this guy on campus, and he's much older than her. And yeah, so this has an age gap. And they're immediately drawn to each other, and he starts to pursue her, and she is just kind of wondering why. And they slowly fall in love. Actually, they quickly fall in love, and it is so good. So good. Oh my gosh, I loved it so much. And then obviously I read book 2, Torture Her Soul, which I also gave 5 out of 5 stars. I didn't like this one as much because first of all, it's not in Carissa's point of view, and I kind of wanted it to be, to know what was like going on with her and like how she was feeling, and I just wanted to know more of her thoughts on everything. This one was probably like more of a 4.5, but I just gave it 5 because I was so in love with this trilogy. Another thing I didn't like about the second book is just how they weren't really together. Like, they were together, but they weren't, like, they were kind of fighting and not necessarily on the same page, and that was a thing that kind of annoyed me. But like, I understood obviously like why, but it was just like, oh, I wanted them to just be happy, but obviously, you know, things happen. And then I read the third book, Target on Our Backs, which I gave 5 out of 5 stars. I loved this book so much as well. Like, this whole trilogy is just amazing. If you like dark romances, I highly recommend this one. I mean, I feel like everybody has read it, and I'm like the last person on the planet to read it, but I finally did it, and I loved it so much, and I'm so happy I finally read it. Like, I'm so happy. And then I read kind of the spin-off of the Monster in His Eyes trilogy, and that is the Scarlet Scars duology. So the first book is in Venice, and this follows Lorenzo, which you meet in the third Monster in His Eyes book, Target on Our Backs. You meet him in there. So this is his duology. This I gave 4 out of 5 stars. I didn't love it as much, but I still really did enjoy it. I wanted more of like a romance aspect, and I didn't feel like it was that romance heavy compared to A Monster in His Eyes. And this is also another dark romance. And yeah, so this follows Lorenzo, who is basically just living his life, doing his business, and he bumps into a woman, and he is immediately drawn to her, and he wants to find out more about her. He sees like this mysterious tattoo on her. He wants to know more about her because he is so bored out of his mind that he needs something to focus on. And turns out this woman is running from something, and it's just about her dealing with her past and trying to get her life together, and they fall in love, and he is just trying to figure out what he wants to do. Basically, he is just being Lorenzo, and he just wants stuff to do. He wants some action. Yeah, so I gave this one 4 out of 5 stars, and then I read the second book, Grievous, is that how you say it? And I also gave 4 out of 5 stars. Very solid duology. I definitely do recommend it if you've read the Monster and Desires trilogy. I feel like you should read them after. Personally, I feel like you should, but yeah, I really enjoyed those two books as well. So that is it for my October wrap up. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I know it was probably super long and I'm so sorry, and my thoughts were kind of everywhere. I really apologize. I feel like I'm still a little bit sick and like I'm not thinking straight right now, but yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed it. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know how many books you read in October. Make sure to give this video a like, subscribe, follow me on all my other social media, and I will see you guys in my next one. Bye.